Welcome to SVG-TV News for Friday, November 10, 2017. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. In a surprise cabinet reshuffle which took effect today, Friday, November 10, 2017, Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves has stepped aside from the portfolio of Minister of Finance, which he held since his Unity Labour Party administration came to office in 2001. The portfolio of Minister of Finance now rests with Camilo Gonsalves, who will maintain his ministerial responsibilities for economic planning and sustainable development. Minister of Agriculture, Sabota Caesar, now has the additional responsibilities for industry, labor, and the Bureau of Standards. Minister of Transport and Works, Urban Development and Local Government, Senator Julian Francis, will take on the further responsibility of postal services. Minister of Education, Reconciliation and Ecclesiastical Affairs, Sinclair Jimmy Prince, will take on the added responsibility for information, to include the Agency for Public Information and the National Broadcasting Corporation. Prime Minister Gonsalves will continue as Minister of National Security, Air and Seaport Development, Immigration and Legal Affairs. The Prime Minister is expected to outline further details of the cabinet reshuffle and other national issues at a media conference on Monday, November 13th at Cabinet Room, beginning at 10 a.m. 200 Soursop plants were on Thursday distributed at the Diamonds Primary School to mark the official launch of the National Soursop Planting Program. The program, which forms part of the Agri-Export Strategy Initiative, will see over 1 million soursop plants planted across SVG as part of the Ministry of Agriculture Diversification Program. We hear more on Thursday's ceremony in this report by Nikita Tony.
Primary School on Thursday, November 9th, became the starting block of the Ministry of Agriculture's National Soursop Planting Program, which aims to plant some 100 million soursop trees nationwide. Through a grant of $20,000 provided by the SVG Preservation Fund, 6,000 seedlings were propagated by the Richmond Vale Academy, with close to 200 of the plants distributed at the Diamonds Primary School on Thursday. Speaking at the ceremony, co-founder of the SVG Preservation Fund, Louise Mitchell, noted that her organization is proud to have played a role in the initiative, which will aid in the protection of the environment.
One of the reasons why we like soursop is because it can grow easily without us using a lot of chemicals. So I want you all to tell the teachers that you all want a soursop tree to go home and plant in your yard. And then Mrs. Harry will then ask the minister to make sure that he distributes enough trees so that you all get one. All of you whose parents are farmers can take a soursop tree home.
Representative of the Richmond Vale Academy, Stina Herberg, expressed the Academy's elation in being responsible for propagating the seedlings.
Soursop tree is a very healthy tree. It's a tree that provides us with a lot of nutrients, vitamins, minerals, and also the leaves. You dry them and cook them and it makes a really good tea. That's also very good for you. So I think this project that we're going to work together on for many years, the first 6,000 seedlings are being set now, and I'm sure there are other stations around the country getting on board this project right now. And next year we will set another 10,000, 20,000 seedlings, and we will just continue to be on board this project.
Minister of Agriculture Sabota Caesar deemed the project to be an important pillar in the diversification strategy of SVG.
We are going to work out a program with the principal and the teachers of all the classes, whereby on evenings, batches of 10 plants, Aluka Brown or Mr. Osa Samuel will accompany you with your parent to ensure that every single student in the school that you receive one of these soursop plants. Important investment in our youth, and I want you to take care of these plants.
The minister further outlined that the program will also target the farming community to get even more trees planted.
Currently, we have over 50,000 plants available for farmers. I don't want the farmers to feel left out. We are focusing on the schools. We are focusing on the upcoming generations. But we also will be working with our farmers, and there is going to be a launch of the program for our farmers where we are going to make plants available for farmers who have already registered.
The National Soursop Planting Program will target the establishment of 50 acres and the rehabilitation of 10 acres of soursop here in SVG. Nikita Tony reporting for SVG-TV News.
Work being done on the Arid factory in Owe is expected to be completed by the end of the month. This is according to the Minister of Agriculture, Sabota Caesar, as he spoke in Parliament early this week, giving an update on the status of restorative work being done at the factory, as well as other work to be done at the facility. Minister Caesar said much has been done over a 12-month period.
Works over the last 12 months include the completion of a drying house extension 20 feet by 40 feet, the conversion of a storeroom into a changing facility for workers, the renovation of washroom facilities, repair was done to the loading ramp. The floor of the factory was completely placed in concrete. There were probably areas where they had board and they had to put the entire place in concrete.
The Agriculture Minister added that over $200,000 have been released by the Ministry of Finance for the project and highlighted the work which is left to be completed.
And I'm now speaking about what is expected to take place between now and the end of November. 1, complete the drying racks. 2, to seal the openings on the base of the collecting trays. Epoxy coating of the vats. Ordering of 500 blades. Cleaning and painting of the housing of the mills. Changing the gear oil in all the motors. Power washing the building. And cutting the trees above the water line. So some of them are the routine work that will be done.
Along with the structural work, Minister Caesar stated that the factory is also going through managerial changes.
The newly appointed General Manager, Mr. Selman Walters, has taken over from Mr. Caldrick Brown, who has retired. And the Ministry of Agriculture, we held discussions with Windfresh for the sale of 3 tranches of 27,000 pounds per tranche of processed arrowroot starch. I am advised by the technicians that the factory will be ready. However, my experience advises me that the best plans, when you have to wait on other stakeholders and parties, that there can be possible postponements. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Opposition leader Dr. Godwin Friday is calling for more police presence on the streets when there are cruise passengers on the island. Dr. Friday, who was speaking on Nice Radio, said he's very concerned by the recent assault and robbery of a group of cruise passengers and that more must be done to bring perpetrators to justice. He also advised the tourism authorities to do as much as they can to appease those who have been affected.
This is something that is really a very serious matter for our tourism industry. It's a very serious matter for our law enforcement and for the country, because it's very easy for the news about these things to fly around the place and we get, a bad reputation. What I've been urging is for the authorities to respond to show those persons who are directly affected and the cruise operators that we take this matter very seriously in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, that we will do whatever is necessary to bring the culprits to justice and to beef up security in Kingstown to ensure that these things don't occur again. This is what I believe the tourist operators, the tour operators, and the persons on the ships would respond positively to. The damage, we cannot say that there is no damage. There will be fallout from it. But we need to mitigate it. And to do so, we have to respond immediately and comprehensively, and to be persuasive to those persons who are affected that we are doing everything humanly possible to bring this matter, the specific incident, that the persons are prosecuted.
Dr. Friday further called on locals to cooperate with the police and share information to bring perpetrators to justice.
But that there's security in place on the ground by more police officers being visible, particularly when the cruise ships are here, the ordinary police, regular police force, be patrolling around so that they're walking around Kingstown. People can see them. That engenders more security and assurance for those people who come ashore. And if you can do this stuff in the middle of the day and feel that this is something that I can get an advantage from, then that means that you're thinking you can get off with it.
Exactly.
And that comes from a perception of how vigilant our police are, how effective they are in prosecuting crime, and what kind of cooperation they get from the community. Because the best way, I believe, to solve these kinds of incidents is there are other persons who will know who the culprits are. That is not to say that the authorities must bear some responsibility as well, because they have to do a lot more to ensure security around Kingstown. You know, you have a large ship like Britannia with over 4,000 passengers and 1,700 crew. When they come here, we have to make sure that there's a difference in terms of how we approach security in Kingstown.
Students here are being encouraged to use the opportunities presented them to reach their academic potential and achieve a bright future. This encouragement comes from Taiwanese ambassador to SVG, Bosch and Gur, as he spoke at a ceremony on Thursday at the Methodist Church Hall. Over 800 students from schools around Kingstown are expected to benefit from education bursaries, as the government of Taiwan continues to make investments in the education of Vincentians. Ambassador Gur stated that much like SVG, Taiwan places great emphasis on the education of the youth and encouraged all students to work hard to achieve a bright future.
2002, Taiwan has been a sponsor of the YES program. Every year, 2.9 million EC dollars is earmarked to assist about 500 young people to work in the public or private sectors under this program. This year, an extra 1.34 million EC dollars will be put into the fund to enroll 167 more young people in the 2017 to 2018 SET and YES program. In Taiwan, we like to say it takes 10 years to grow a tree, but 100 years to nurture people. It says how important education is. That is the very reason we have created or sponsored a wide range of programs to assist the young talents, leaders of tomorrow. We do hope that all the recipients this year will make best use of the money and study hard. So once again, students and parents, I want to say congratulations, and I wish every student of this country a very bright future.
Also speaking at the ceremony was Minister of Education St. Clair Jimmy Prince, who stated that the bursaries will go a long way in easing the financial burden on parents. Minister Prince also took the opportunity to encourage parents to play a greater role in their children's educational development.
The financial assistance received today will help to ease some of the financial burden of parents to send their children to school. I urge all parents to be proactive in their children's education. Please ensure that they attend school regularly, punctually, and smart. Parents, you have to play an active part in your children's school life. And every time I speak like this, I always have to bring the parents in, because I know that if some parents do a little bit more, we're going to have better results. You should be familiar with all their friends and take time out to visit their schools to interact with their teachers and the school leaders so that you can be updated on the progress of your children from time to time. Don't just visit the school when you are summoned to, but make a conscious effort to visit the school from time to time once you observe all of the protocols that such school visits entail. In other words, it is not for you just to go down to school to cuss every day. There are other things that you can do.
Prince added that the relationship between SVG and Taiwan has continued to bring tremendous benefits to the people of SVG. He also took the opportunity to commend teachers for their role in ensuring that financial aid is given to students who need it the most.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's event bears testimony to the solid relationship that began 36 years ago between this country and Taiwan. This long, unbroken relationship has brought tremendous benefits to this country over the years. We have a lot to be thankful for because of this association. The footprints of this relationship can also be seen in the many projects financed by the Republic of China throughout this country. As I conclude, I want to congratulate all of the scholarship recipients and to personally again thank the government and people of Taiwan for their continued support to education and their other investments in our country's development. I'd just like to say also that most of these students, these recipients, were chosen by the teachers themselves. That's important. They know you. They know who needs what. And they know which parents will take the money to do their hair so they won't bother them. But seriously though, the teachers have chosen well, and I wish that these monies will go a long way in improving the lives of all. Thank you very much.
The newly adopted Occupational Safety and Health Bill has come in for high commendations from the Public Service Union, the PSU. On the PSU Speaks radio program on NBC Radio last night, President of the union, Elroy Boucher, congratulated the government on the piece of legislation as well as the opposition for supporting it. Boucher described the bill as good for the working class and the country on a whole.
Just a few more procedural matters and things, and then it becomes effective law. Of course, we must congratulate the government on getting this important piece of legislation through and on the verge of being signed into law. It protects workers. It's good for the country. It's good for the working class. And it's a legislation that I am very fond of. And it is only going to be good for us all, both employers and employees.
The Public Service Union leader also expressed his satisfaction that the document protects pregnant women from hazards and ensures that they can maintain their jobs.
Pregnant women and unborn child, and it also protects when after she has given birth for 6 months or so, the protection is also there. And the bill takes into account the possibility of probably harm being to the mother in dealing with dangerous chemicals and all of that. And those are dangerous chemicals. Such chemicals are defined. So we know these are some of the issues that many women have been going through. And like I said, many of the beer companies are already practicing these things. So it's no heartache to them. But the smaller entities who tend at times to exploit workers because, you know, jobs are scarce in St. Vincent, and therefore they can dismiss them at the stop of a finger. This law is important to protect all women who will be faced with such.
And Government Senator Carlos James said the Occupational Safety and Health Bill is a piece of legislation that would have this country meet international standards as it pertains to employment. Contributing to the debate on the bill in Parliament this week, Senator James said it ensures that workers themselves would have to follow guidelines for safety.
And you would see the builders, some of them in flip-flops, or what we call traditionally gunslingers. Or sometimes they are barefooted. Workers swinging from scaffolding without the necessary protective gear or even the proper construction of the scaffolding themselves. Unsanitary backhouses that are used to manufacture, whether it be agro-processing or food. Some of us were exposed to these unsightly environments. And even some of our restaurants here in Kingston.
Opposition Member of Parliament for Central Kingstown, Sinclair Leacock, also believes that the bill would advance development. He is, however, of the view that every effort must be made to ensure full implementation in work environments.
It is one of those things that we have to tread on sort of carefully. You don't want to come across as having a big stick beating the employers into submission, and you also don't want to go across the other side of the fence and figure you have to beat workers into acknowledgement of doing what that is good for them. So there is, in a sense, a constant process of education and of massaging and advancing the legislation to the point that it really becomes a part of the business and working culture of the society. That all parties who are interested do it because they know it's for the general good of society.